Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Center for Spirit. Okay, we're not at the center. It's still the Sunday celebration for the Center for Spiritual Living Cape Coral, live, not really live, but pre-recorded from my office at home. So welcome to my home office. Wherever you are on your spiritual path, you are absolutely welcome into the Center for Spiritual Living Cape Coral. Today we have the Big Love Band on deck. We have a beautiful meditation, a wonderful reading with John, and then of course my Sunday message. So welcome to the center. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. See you soon.
Welcome. I am Linda Lloyd, a practitioner here at Center for Spiritual Living, Cape Coral, and welcome to our meditation portion of today's service. The service today, the talk, is around the idea of how our interdependency is the fruit for our spirits. How do we come to build the beloved community in our hearts, minds, and spaces? Well, I absolutely know that it begins with meditation, which is no accident why meditation is the first part that we start our services with. So come on in and relax, and let's take this idea into meditation. So become still. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And just allow yourself to become focused on the breath. Fully present to this precious breath of life. And let us take in a nice deep breath together. And exhaling. And on our next breath, we're going to breathe in this life force presence in a conscious way, and breathing out any worries, doubts, fears, anxiety, and just letting it go for these next few moments. So let us breathe in love and peace and joy, and breathing out anything that is not in alignment with that. As we hit the pause button, letting go of everything that came before this moment, and any anticipation of future moments, becoming fully present to the presence. This presence of life that is everywhere, in the seen and the unseen. And taking in this idea of oneness. The oneness of not just ourselves, but our community, the spaces in which we live, this planet, our communities, our homes. And recognizing that we do not begin and end at our skin. That indeed our energy system goes way beyond our skin out into the world, where we are part of the environment within which we live. The air that surrounds our body temples. It is said that every pore on our body is breathing, just like our lungs, moment by moment, breathing in and breathing out. This beautiful essence of air that surrounds us, that is the very life force of life. that which we can actually call God, life itself. The air, the breath, being an aspect of this life that gives us the livingness. So recognizing that this air is part of us, as it is on the inside, it is on the outer. One and the same thing, the inner and the outer. We are like a tapestry, threads horizontal and vertical. The horizontal threads, the seen. The vertical threads, the unseen and back of the tapestry. And taking in this idea that each and every one of us is a golden thread in this tapestry of life. Each and every one, each and everything, the plants, the animals, the earth, the people, all golden threads in this tapestry of life woven together, intricately connected. And the vertical threads, that energy of the divine, which we cannot see. But recognizing that we are maintained and sustained by this life force energy always. We cannot live without it. So as we recognize our oneness, we open our hearts wide open to this energy field and breathing it in as if right into our hearts, through our hearts, and breathing out anything that is not in alignment with that. All the anxieties, worries, doubts, fears. As we recognize that this universe is intelligent and it is always maintaining and sustaining for the higher greatest good of all. And it is doing that right now and always. So we can just release all ideas to the contrary and commune with this precious life force just for these next few moments, embodying our oneness, recognizing that each individualized expression of the divine is indeed a thread of this tapestry that we are all woven into. And recognizing each and every one important, necessary, and equally loved and sustained and maintained. Just allowing ourselves to fully and completely take that in, just as we take in each breath of life. And ever so slowly and gently, allow your awareness to come back to where you're sitting, the room in which you're in, the seat beneath you. And ever so slowly and gently, in your own timing, begin to open your eyes. So I'd like to end today's meditation with a little quote, an affirmation, actually. I am the divine activity of inclusion. I embrace the multiplicity of creation as a community expressing divinity on earth. And so it is. Thank you. Namaste. Stay tuned for the rest of the service. Blessings.
There is a power, a force in the universe greater than us, and we can work with this power and enjoy lives that are happier, healthier, more peaceful, and more content. That's what we're talking about. Good morning and welcome to today's presentation from the Center for Spiritual Living, Cape Coral, Florida. I'm Reverend David Renee Jennings, Associate Minister here.
And I'm Vicki Jennings, and we're so glad you've chosen to join us this morning.
Both delighted. Thanks for being with us today, spending quality time with your spiritual family. Welcome home.
We want you to know that wherever you are in your spiritual journey, we're so glad you're with us today.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And as usual, when we begin our time together, we like to start with a blessing. And it goes like this. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. We know who you truly are. You are the spiritual image and likeness of God. We appreciate you, we love you, and we are grateful for you. And so it is. Welcome home. Yes, indeed. So please stick around for some great music coming up and an inspiring message from Reverend Shell Redfern.
Yes. And please watch us on Facebook, catch us on YouTube, or you can watch us from our website. And on our website, you'll also find information about all the great things that are going on at online with the center and at the center now that it's starting its opening process.
Slowly and surely. We'll be back together soon. We look forward to it. Meanwhile, stay happy and healthy. Have a great day. Enjoy our presentation. All the very best. Bye now.
Tomorrow shine, got a brand new life. feeling tomorrow shine, feeling tomorrow shine. Got a brand new life ahead, and Lord knows I'll be fine. 'Cause I'm feeling tomorrow shine, feeling tomorrow shine. Got a brand new life ahead, and Lord knows I'll be fine. 'Cause I'm feeling tomorrow shine.
Good morning. I'm John Coriel, one of the licensed science of mind practitioners here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Cape Coral, Florida. Good to have you with us this morning. And our topic this morning that Reverend Shell will be talking about in just a couple of minutes is the Diversity and Inclusion Commission at CSL headquarters. And the outline of diversity and inclusion. I thought stronger, better together. Wire rope begins with a single wire that is anywhere from 0.6 to 0.8 millimeters in diameter. And the first step is to wind several of these small wires together into a strand. The number of wires per strand depends upon the job the rope will perform. Different applications require different degrees of flexibility and strength. And just as our inclusion of more and different wires yields stronger and more versatile wire that expands the use, strength, and effectiveness of wire, our inclusion of more and different cultures, views, and individualized expressions of humanity creates expanded, stronger, and more effective communities. So join me here now, won't you, in a moment of prayer, and just recognizing Spirit God, that individualness that we are. We are all a part of that oneness, and there is no separating us right here and right now. We are all a part of it, always have been, are, and always will be. We just recognize Spirit here in its entirety, allness. We are all one. So we just give thanks for that wonderful knowledge, that motivation, that knowingness that we are all one, right here, right now. We give thanks for that. We allow it to be here in our wonderful togetherness, I guess we could call it. And as we know that to be so, we can say right here and right now, and so it is. Yes. And right now, please welcome Reverend Shell Redfern.
Hello again, everybody. So this month we've been talking about inclusion in action, and our theme for today is better together. Now, the notes from home office included a description of what better together kind of looked like or how it worked, and they compared it to a wire rope. Now, if you think about a wire rope, it starts out with individual strands, right? And each individual strand can be anywhere from 0.6 to 8 millimeters. That's quite a diversity in the size of each strand. And the strands are brought together and they're wrapped together and they're wound up in different ways depending upon what the end use is. Now, some of those are using bigger strands because they need to be really strong and really stable. And some of them are using the smaller strands wound together because they need to be very flexible. But truly, the strength comes from all of these different strands being wound together. And so their idea is that the strength comes from the winding together of different cultures and different views and different expressions of humanity. And that's what brings the strength, the continuity to we as human beings, recognizing that everything, everybody is God in form and really capitalizing and building on that. So I completely agree with that. And I think that all month now, this is week 4 of this, all month we've been building on this idea of diversity in action. We started out week 1 talking about explicit, out loud, and implicit, ones that we don't even realize we have biases, right? And how to recognize them and where they come from and so on. Week 2, we talked about getting to understand ourselves, because if we could understand ourselves and where our thoughts came from and our belief patterns came from, we might understand some of the biases that are there and really be able to dive into where some of those implicit biases are. Week 3, we talked about the garden, our beautiful new gardens, and made the analogy of the texture of the garden coming from the diversity in the plants, some tall and thin, some short and wide, a range of color, and that if everything was the same and the same height and the exact same flower, we just wouldn't have the beauty that comes from the diversity and the texture of all those differences coming together. And so this week, I want to talk about bringing diversity home and how to kind of incorporate everything that we've been talking about and put it into day-to-day practice. So how do we bring this, how do we foster this at home? Well, I went to my favorite resources, one of my favorite resources, and that's children's books. Because I think that when we have to explain things to children, we can say it in such a way that it's simple but profound. And I found a beautiful little book, and it's too long to read. Often I would read it, but it's too long to read. But it was a great little story about a baby snake and a baby sparrow. And the baby sparrow is getting ready to go to school, and the mom of the baby sparrow said, now, have a great day. Be kind and good to everybody, but don't hang out with those snakes. The snakes like to eat you, and we can't be friends with snakes. They're different from us. They're too different from us. And then it shows the little snake, and he's getting ready to go to school, and his dad wants to give him eggs to eat for lunch. And the baby snake says, well, I don't like eggs. I've never liked eggs. I won't eat them. And dad says, well, that's fine. You don't have to eat the eggs. But don't be hanging out with any sparrows. You don't want to become friends with your dinner. That's just not a good idea. And so both of these little guys go to school, and they're both very upset because of what their parents have said. Now, this happens frequently, right? Kids learn biases. We learn biases. It's not inherent in who we are. Any bias, any kind of prejudice is not inherent in who we are. It's learned behavior. Sometimes it's learned through experience. Sometimes it's learned in the way that this story is telling. The parents, saying just right outright, don't do that, right? So they go to school and they decide to play a game. And they drew 2 circles, and one was yellow and one was blue. And then they overlapped the 2 circles, and in the middle, they put a green area. And they said, okay, let's find all the ways that we're alike, and we can bring this back to our parents, and we can show them that we really are more alike than we are different. And so they said, okay, how about how we look? How we're alike in how we look. And the snake said, well, I'm kind of long and thin and plain, smooth on the outside. And the sparrow said, well, I kind of look like a fluffy powder puff. So that went into 2 different circles. And then they looked at the way that they moved. And the sparrow said, well, I fly like an airplane. And so she drew a little airplane. And he said, well, I kind of scoot around on the ground like a train. So he drew a train. And they realized they were very, very different in that way. And they said, well, what about what we eat? And the sparrow said, well, I eat plants and flowers and seeds. And the snake said, well, I eat rats and can't remember what else the snake ate, but rats were fine with me. Anyway, so they had to put those, and they just got more and more and more upset as they were drawing this because there was nothing in the green area. They were just in the yellow and blue areas. And their teacher came out and said, well, why are you looking so glum? And they told him what they were doing. And he said, oh, you're approaching this all wrong. And he said, Sparrow, what is your favorite thing to do? And she said, well, hang out with Snake and talk and giggle. And Snake, what's your favorite thing to do? Well, hang out with Sparrow and talk and giggle. Well, so that goes in the middle. And he asked them a number of more questions. And of course, they ended up with a bunch of things in the middle. He said, you're asking the wrong questions. You're focusing on the wrong things. And if you just ask the right questions and focus on different things, you'll find that you're more alike than you are different. So I think that that's the same way with us. And the most interesting part of that book were the kinds of questions that they were looking at, right? So I'm going to share my screen here for a second because they have a little game that you could play with your kids to kind of show them how this works. And I'm gonna show you the game. I'm gonna pause for a sec. It's been a while since I flipped back and forth between sharing screen and not sharing screen. I used to do that all the time when I was teaching online. All right, so here's the exercise. And it says, think about how many ways that you can sort and group these toy animals. You can sort them according to color. You know, we can put all the blue animals into one circle and then all the yellow animals into another circle. Or we can sort them according to size, small in one circle and big in another circle. We can sort them according to how they move, animals that walk as opposed to animals that fly. And you can put the ones that walk in one circle and the ones that fly in another circle. And isn't it interesting that the groups are different every time? Every single time, the groups are entirely different. There's a different configuration to the group. Now, why is this important to us? Because our mind tends to think in generalities. I'll go ahead and stop the share. Our mind tends to think in generalities. We want to group things. We want to group like things together. And so are we looking for the right things to group together? Are we looking for values? Are we looking for conversations? Are we looking for interests? Or are we looking at things like their skin color is different than mine? Their sexual preference is different than mine. The way they express as male or female is different than the way I express. And it's something I don't understand, so they go over there in that group. Can we begin to group things in a different manner and find the same? Because I think if we can view things through that lens, through those questions, through those kinds of responses to situations, we would find out that every time we group things together, the configuration would turn out different. And the configurations would indeed be beautiful. So last week I was saying, go out and have a courageous conversation. That is your challenge for this week, to have a courageous conversation with somebody and to bring up the differences, to express the differences, to realize the differences, to respect the differences, to acknowledge the differences, and to come out of it on the other side with it resolved, you know. But resolution could look like it's different and it's okay, you know. So the challenge this week would be to find different ways. If you find yourself grouping, which we all do, it's natural, it's normal. Can you find different ways to group things so that it's a positive experience for those involved and you can find the sameness as opposed to the difference? And if you're looking at the difference, can you find the difference and honor it and love it and cherish it and find it precious? Yeah? That would be the thing. And the whole idea is that the strength comes in the weaving together of these differences, the bringing together of these different strands. And sometimes it brings flexibility in the strength, and sometimes it brings rigidity in the strength, but it always is stronger when we weave things together and we work together. So what would Ernest Holmes say about this? So glad you asked. Let's see. From Ernest Holmes, 365, Science of Mind, March 5th, Human Relations. There is one spirit incarnated in everyone, an immortal presence, forever expanding everything, causing everything to grow. What a difference it would make in our human relations if we tried to sense the meaning of this divine incarnation in all people and adjust our viewpoint to the truth that all are bound together in the unity of God. While it is true, as Scripture says, that now we see through a glass darkly, there still is hidden within each one the cause of all life, all aspiration, and all faith. We are so used to thinking of ourselves as separate from one another that we suspect the very feeling and emotion that causes us to embrace everything in love. The one who loves the most will live the most. We meet each other only in fragments, only partially, only in a miserly way when we refuse to open the whole avenue of our consciousness to the realization that there is but one living spirit. If our human relations are to mean the most to us, we must sense that there is hidden within, around, and through each of us a divine presence manifesting itself in infinite variations, the same impulse, the same love and life, but never quite alike in any two persons. That merits repeating. Okay, we're going to come back here. Where does it start? If our human relations are to mean the most to us, we must sense that there is hidden within, around, and through each of us a divine presence manifesting itself in infinite variations. The same impulse, the same love and life, but never quite alike in any two persons. And then he has an affirmation here. I invite you to close your eyes and take this in. Today, I'm going to meet each experience as I feel it really is. I will endeavor to see the divine presence in everything. I'm demanding of myself that I see and sense and feel the one life that flows through all things. I affirm this presence and accept its beneficent action because it is already there. As I go forth today and embark on the wonderful experience of living, I am on a journey of self-discovery and also of the discovery of the self hidden in everyone and the power in back of everything. Stunning. Stunning. As I go forth today and embark on a wonderful experience of living, I am on a journey of self-discovery and also of the discovery of the self hidden in everyone and the power in back of everything. We, my friends, the self, ourselves, is hidden or not so hidden in everybody that we encounter. Everybody. We are one. We are all spirit in form. We are all one. So how about we take this into prayer? Today, right now, right here, there's a power and presence. It is not hidden. It is right where we are. It is everything that we are. It is the very breath we take. It is life itself, and it is seeking fuller, freer expression. And it uses each of us to do just that. Everybody, everyone on this planet and planets beyond here is spirit incarnate. We are all one in this thing called life, in this thing called God, in this thing called spirit. We are all one. So today I know that each and every one moves forward open in a new way to the diversity that is. There's an experience of diversity as beauty, as love, as joy. Each and every one of us is open to receive an idea, a gift, a notion that has never been here before. And this notion, this idea brings more peace, brings more love, brings more joy, brings more expansion of self, and more room for the differences that are the beauty in this tapestry called life. So I celebrate all that is emerging because we came together here today. I celebrate each and every one that is watching, I celebrate all that is unfolding as a result of being open to difference. In this celebration of life, love, joy, peace, I release my word into law and know it is done. It is done. And if you agree, I invite you to claim this with me by saying, and so it is. So be it.
Good morning. My name's Kay Atwood, and I'm on the Leadership Council at the Center for Spiritual Living. And it's at this time during the Sunday celebration when we are given the opportunity to donate to the place where we are spiritually fed, the center. And we can do that in many ways. We can text a donation to 239-320-3820, or we can use the donate button on our website, cslcapecoral.org. Use the PayPal option, PayPal@cslcapecoral.org. Mail a check to the Center for Spiritual Living, 406 Southeast 24th Avenue, Cape Coral 33990, or use an automatic withdrawal from our checking account. Any way is very much appreciated, and we do give back to the community. We give 5% to the Cape Coral Caring Center, who provides food and financial assistance to people in Cape Coral. And we also give back to our corporate center in Colorado, who provides us with curriculum and other benefits. And now please join me in this affirmation. Today, I know the activity of divine abundance is at work in my life and the life of the center. I give and receive generously as I live in the flow of bountiful good. Thank you.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This loving day. This loving day. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This loving day. This loving day.
And now it's time to stand in the light. When we stand in the light, we stand in the light knowing the truth about a situation, what we'd like to see. So I am standing in the light for each and every one of you, knowing that there is expansion in each and every one of your lives, that good and more good is unfolding for each one watching this video right here and right now, and that peace and joy are the way of it. Grace and ease are the way of it this day and all days following. Now, if you would like to stand in the light for something or somebody, please feel free to write in the comments if you're watching on Facebook, or in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, or you can visit our website at cslcapecoral.org and fill out a prayer request, and our practitioners and ministers will pray for you all week on whatever it is that you'd like to see changed. I'm going to do a brief blessing over all of these intentions. So I speak a word of blessing, knowing that this power and presence that is everywhere present through and as each and every one watching this video with these sacred intentions, there is God going on here. There is life going on here. There is flow going on here. And good and more good is unfolding as a result of each of these sacred intentions being spoken into this sacred space. So I know the highest and best in each one of these situations is emerging with grace and ease as I speak my word. For this and so much more, I am grateful and thankful. I released my word into law. It is done. And so it is. So be it. We got quite a few announcements today. So part of the reason that I'm recording from home today, it's kind of, I wanted to end the way we began. We started out in my home for the first week and then did a bunch of different things in the last few months. And the next time you see me, I will be back at the center, but we will be doing the service, the celebration live. Now, does that mean that we're going to bring in participants, as in bring in an audience that day? Well, we're going to have our leadership there. We're going to have practitioners there and the leadership council, but nobody outside of that on that day. That will be on the 6th, September 6th. And we're calling this our dress rehearsal. So here's what we're trying to do, you guys. We're trying to bring together all kinds of new technology. So we have new cameras, we have new software, we have new systems that we've been putting in place so that we could live stream in a bigger, better way from the center. We've got new volunteers coming in to help us with that, which is fantastic. And so we're going to see how all that works on the 6th. Now, based on how that works out, if it flows with grace and ease, then as soon as the 13th, we'll be taking reservations for people to join us for celebration. If we have things that we need to work out, then we're going to do that for a few more weeks until we get it running smoothly, so that when we bring you in, everything's already running smoothly. So that is the plan for the next few weeks. So you're saying, what about the 30th? Shall, that's next week. Well, next week, JD and Jan are going to be doing the whole entire celebration. Now, if you joined us at Unity a couple of years back when we went over to Unity and had a joint celebration, JD and Jan did that celebration. You know how wonderful they are. They're great musicians and just have a wonderful, warm message. So they will be doing the entire celebration next week, because for the next 2 weeks, I'm on vacation. Woohoo! Very excited. So I'm going to be taking a little bit of a rest before we go into this big new production thing. So that has an effect on a couple of other things this week. Our Seed of the Soul class, which meets on Tuesdays, will have a substitute facilitator. It will be Linda, who's been in the class the whole time. She will be facilitating for the next couple of weeks. Thank you, Linda. Miss Linda Lloyd, practitioner here. And also on midweek tune-up, I know we just opened to bring people in, but we're going to just go fully online for the next 2 weeks because of my absence, because I'm the one that technically knows how to run that in the two platforms. So Pam Lambert, another practitioner, thank you, Pam, will be facilitating midweek tune-up, and it will be fully online for the next 2 weeks. Okay, I'm going to send out an email so that all of this is clear, along with links, so that you guys know where to go to participate in that. So those were the big things. Did I miss anything? I don't think I did. I'm going to trust that I didn't. But in any case, you will be getting an email just letting you know what's coming up, what our expectations are, how things are going to work, and so on. So that's what's going on. All right. I love you all. I wish you a wonderful next 2 weeks, and we will see you on September 6th from the center. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.